Okay, gentlemen, that's one of the reasons why we are doing this presentation to prevent this property damage and death of injury to workers. So this short presentation is not does not include all the, but these are selected topics presented before by my colleague Thompson. So this is a review. So the reason why we need to follow this work permit is to prevent disasters, prevent property damage, and to make sure that our colleagues and friends and employees can go back home safely to their families. So my presentation will be two parts. First, I will discuss key permit requirements, then work permit review guides. Okay, the issuer, receiver, he requests a work permit to the issuer operation, and the issuer uses the appropriate permit. He decides whether it's a hard, cold, release, or entry permit. Of course, the issuer must check the receiver certificate, make sure it's still valid and not expired. Second, key permit requirements. Issuer and receiver conduct a joint site inspection. This is very important, the joint site inspection. For issuer, make sure you do the joint site inspection with the receiver. If some receiver or issuer are not doing a joint site inspection, the hazards cannot be identified. Before issuers are not doing a joint site inspection, they're just meeting on a certain place, like in the intersection of Harold Goss Street, Sarkir Road, and issuing permit on the intersection. This is not the right way, because this you will not be able to identify the hazards, or do not issue a permit in the office. Because if you don't go to the field and check for the hazards, you don't know you cannot properly identify the precautions. So I urgently ask your help to please do your joint site inspection. Also do gas tests. These are very important, and sign the permit before allowing the work to start, both issuer and receiver. Second item, the second bullet is very important. This is the main thing, joint site inspection. The third key permit requirement, issuer reviews permit and requirement with receiver. After the issuer has written the requirements on the work permit, he has to communicate what he has written on the permit to the receiver. Make sure the receiver understands all the safety precautions and hazards that were identified on the job. So how can you make sure that the receiver has understand try to ask some questions, then let him give you feedback what you have mentioned. Because this the main thing, communication, that the receiver understands what you have written on the permit. Do not just ask, is it clear? You will just say yes. Ask some question, or let him give you, repeat back what you have told him. Can you repeat back what you have, what I told you? Then you will know if you really get the message. Yeah, do not ask. Okay. All right, that's a good point. The fourth key permit requirements: issuer obtain approval of other affected areas, supervisor. If the work will involve overhead power line or pipelines, the issuer has to get counter signature from the other organization issuers. The fifth key permit requirements, this is very important. The receiver must stay on site to ensure work is done per the permit. The receiver, he is the one, he has a responsibility, both issuer and receiver, they have a joint responsibility for maintaining the safety. So the receiver, he should be on the job site. If he wants to leave the job site, he has to ask permission from the issuer, and the one who will replace him must be a qualified receiver also. After the issuer has issued the permit, issuer has to conduct periodic reviews. Issuer, once he issue a permit, then he doesn't visit the site anymore. This, you have to do periodic review. You have to visit the site to make sure the conditions are still in same as you checked before, or if there are any additional hazards. And finally, issuer and receiver conduct joint site inspection before closing the permit. This closing the permit is very important. This is to make sure that the communication is being done by the receiver and issuer. What's the condition at the job site? Is there any hazards? If the job is finished, if it's not finished, make sure the site is secured, properly secured. Okay, housekeeping. This is very important in our job site. When you visit a plant or any facility or your house of your anybody, when you see it's very untidy, it's an eyesore, and there are a lot of tripping hazards and a lot of fire and safety hazards. Injuries can happen on site. If you yes, it's a part of the unsafe condition. Okay. Improper material storage, slippery surface area, tools scattered around, debris and rust all over the place. Second, Second item is about PPE, personal protective equipment. You see on this slide, there's a person doing rock breaking. Make sure they have adequate PPE. What should be the PPE for this rock breaking activity? Okay, earplugs, what else?
Anti-viral hand gloves
Okay. Okay, dust mask,
and air muffler.
eye protection,
You're supposed to have also the face shield because it's a flying object can come in his face.
okay, face shield. So this one should be identified by the issuer, and it's not identified, the receiver should also identify it. Failure to wear PPE indicates disregard for other safe work practices. Even those operating the digger, make sure they have the ear protection. We have noticed diggers operators doesn't have any ear protection. Even the receiver on site doesn't have a ear protector. Okay, isolation, lockout, and use of all tags. Make sure to prevent any potential or kinetic energy. The source of hazard should be locked, all tags installed, like valves, breakers, or blinding. Make sure equipment isolated, chain and lock, all tags filled up. Okay, blind list check. Blind list check means the blind list, there's a drawing from engineering. They prepare this blind list. Make sure it's properly blinded. Another thing is fire prevention and protection. Cover sewers within 75 feet radius. This is for the plant with sewers. Make sure fire extinguishers are provided and fire watts are available. Make sure the fire watts know his responsibility, know how to operate the fire extinguisher, and know how to report a fire. The fire watch is assigned by the issuer to prevent any, in case any fire is there to do and operate this firefighting equipment. Okay, crane lifts and rigging. Before we have a problem with the fake equipment operator certificate. Now they have now issued there's a color coding now with this crane certificate and a heavy equipment certificate. For a crane operator, there is a green line on the border on the edge of this is the old type. Now the new one, there's a green line on both sides. For heavy equipment operator, it's a blue line on the side. And for offshore crane operator, it's orange. So if you see any orange colored crane operator certificate, it doesn't have a Saudi Arabian government license for operating. Make sure crane has a valid inspection sticker. And for critical leg crane lift, especially working inside the manifolds and pressurized lines, make sure you have a critical crane lift. It's prepared by a riggerman, approved by a riggerman. So you check operator certificate, make sure it's valid. Make sure you have a rigger. During all crane lifts requires a rigger. Check for a rigger certificate. Critical length crane lift, crane inspection sticker, outrigger, pulley extended. Adequate tag lines used. Surrounding hazards identified. Check also for rigging hardware, like bird cage damage for wire sling. And dispose of any slings with that are defective, like this one with nuts. This is the correct usage and incorrect usage. So rigging hardware must be in good condition. Safe working load must be shown, like here. You'll see on the slings what's the safe working load of the slings. And make sure it's being used correctly as designed. Okay, before I go to scaffolds and ladders, I want to show you a small film. This is about crane. Before I miss that now.
Two men were unloading steel beams from a trailer using a truck-mounted crane. The outriggers on the crane were fully extended and set. The rigger and his helper walked with each load, controlling it with tag lines. The crane operator lifted each load and swung the crane to his right about 180 degrees and lowered the beams to the ground. During the unloading, the foreman approached to talk with the rigger's helper. When the unloading was finished, the crane operator began to put away the rigging and stow the crane. The foreman left, but the rigger's helper remained standing beside the outrigger. As the operator swung the crane into the stowed position, the rigger's helper was crushed between the crane cab and the outrigger he was leaning against. The swing radius of the crane was not barricaded to prevent employees
Make
from...
sure you barricade the swing radius for cranes.
The crane operator should have kept visual contact with his helpers at all times. An audible signal should be installed on the crane to warn employees of the crane's movement.
When you make this. Now we go to scaffolds and ladders. You see a scaffold with do not use.
Do you allow me, please?
Yeah.
The tennis looks very long, yeah? What is two slides?
This presentation.
Yeah.
It's not short. It's short.
This what? This one is two slides, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not thin. Because we want to interact from people. Yeah?
Ah, okay.
Okay?
Yeah. So almost.
Okay.
Now scaffold and ladders. Make sure scaffolds have a scaffolding tag. you say do not use scaffold, do not use this scaffold, it's unsafe to use. Make sure the post is properly in a level ground, and there's it's not like this supported by a concrete. And this is improper use of a roller scaffold with the person standing on top. And here there's a guardrail missing on this scaffold. Make sure the scaffolding tag installed and valid. The valid one is the one, the green one, and it's signed every 2 weeks. For the yellow tag, it means you can use the scaffold, but you have to use fall arrest system. Make sure guardrail system completed and there's a good base foundation. The scaffold inspector, once he sign on the green tag, he has to give a scaffolding inspection checklist to the issuer. So issuer, you make sure the scaffold supervisor or inspector give you this checklist, inspection checklist. You will sign on this and check. Now we go to excavation and trenching. Okay. Make sure you identify all underground utilities. Provide a protective system like shoring and sloping. And check for surrounding hazards. Okay, use excavation checklist is available in loss prevention website. For abrasive blasting and coating, make sure the blaster has a proper PPE. Check for blasting and coating certificate, make sure it's still valid. Check for proper PPE and ventilated hood should be used. This includes all nearby workers working around that area. Make sure they have a proper respirator. Make sure they are using approved abrasive materials. Silica sand is no longer approved. Make sure the nozzle has automatic shut off. So in case the operator drops this nozzle, it will automatically shut off. Sometimes you will see some operator, they tie this with wire because they don't want to hold. Make sure it's not tied with any wire that will defeat this automatic shut off. And make sure the equipment is properly grounded. Barricades and signs must be installed around the surrounding area. Now for cutting and welding, for hot work, make sure the welders are certified. There's proper ventilation. These welding materials properly grounded. Check for damaged welding cables, welding screen used. Make sure oxyacetylene, have a plus back arrestors. And there is a cylinder valve rest available for the acetylene cylinder. For hand and power tools, check for equipment with missing guards, should not be used. Defective electrical cords and 3-prong electrical plug. Sometimes they remove the third point, the grounding. Make sure it's in good condition. There's a 3-prong plug. One is for grounding. Now we'll go to confined space. Make sure the confined space is properly isolated, clean and purged, gas test conducted before any personnel enter the confined space. Make sure the gas testing is conducted. Proper mechanical ventilation. Check for other physical hazards on the confined space. Make sure standby man has this confined space log sheet. Whenever people enter a confined space, they enter what time and the people who enter this confined space. So whenever they go out for a break, you should sign out in the log sheet. And whenever they come back again, he has to enter them again. Standby man is available. Explosion-proof lighting for confined space. Okay, warning, nitrogen displaces oxygen.
Just a question. What's the duty of the standby man? What is the duty of the standby man?
An authorized person who steps in an area outside the confined space.
Yes, prevent the unauthorized personnel to enter the confined space.
An authorized person who steps in an area outside the confined space to protect all the people.
Okay, so again, prevent the unauthorized personnel to enter the confined space. Also, what else?
Take classes 24 hours, monitor the situation, monitor the hazard inside and outside, and
properly maintain.
the proper work monitoring.
And
Properly maintain.
standby man should know how to use the SCBA to prevent if something happened there, how to prevent the problem. He should know how to use the SCBA.
Good question. The whole vulture is not allowed to enter inside the confined space in case of business. Even if he knows how to use the scuba, how to rescue, he cannot enter inside the confined space as emergency. He needs only to know how to contact the emergency rescue team to come and join and to rescue the people inside. But the vulture is not allowed to enter inside the confined space at any time.
Yeah, this is good. So, prevent the unauthorized personnel to enter the confined space. Also, maintain communication between himself and the worker inside. So, what else?
And properly maintain the log sheet. People who are
Entry log
inside
sheet.
and people who are going out.
Also, check the manway accessibility.
Access.
Yes. Nothing is obstacle or prevent or hinders the worker to go inside the confined space. Also, what else?
Proper communication between worker inside and outside, between standby man and inside the people.
So, maintaining the communication.
Communication, yes, proper.
So the duty of the standby man is very important. He should know what he's doing, not just watching,
Yeah.
also maintaining the communication, fill the check-in, check-out
Yes.
list, prevent unauthorized worker.
Yes.
So very important. This message to convey to standby man, this four jobs. Communication, prevent unauthorized personnel to enter.
And frequently take the gas test.
This is the gas tester job. And four job,
Maintaining the communication. Prevent unauthorized personnel to enter the confined space. Also, the checklist, check in, check out, and check the manway.
Access.
Yes, access is free of any hinders, any object. So this is very important thing. So you can now compare it to your standby man. Okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Romeo. It's a good presentation, but we won't make it interactive.
Yes.
Instead of just presentation.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a question, gentlemen. How many issuers do we have here? How many issuers? Just raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4 issuer. And all remaining is receiver. Huh? Which company, Shabab? Which company?
Most of them from
Most cat?
Mostly from cash.
Last man. We didn't hear. What other company? Cat and? Amy?
Yeah.
Majority from cash.
Cat, just raise your hand. MashaAllah. Good number. Right. Do you know, gentlemen, what is the highest violations, loss prevention, observation within SHBD? What is the highest one?
Without license, without working.
Huh? Working without, that's the highest? No. This is the disaster.
Equipment,
It's not your question, huh?
equipment using without license.
The highest number of observations, not housekeeping.
If you are working without good permit.
No, it is not allowed to work without work.
Regarding the certification.
But what is the highest? Do you know what is it?
Regarding the certification of Saudi Aramco license.
No. The receiver is not in the site. This is the highest. Do you know that or not? Do you know? The receiver is not the site, in the site. When receivers leave the site, what will happen? What will happen if the receiver is not in the site? Only just the worker there. We know that the work permit issuer and receiver will do the joint site inspection and fill the work permit. After that, the issuer, we know that. He will leave the site for the work permit receiver and firewatch. But here, what is happening? Work permit receiver is lifting the site and his worker working without control, without supervision. What will happen?
It led to the big disaster.
Mistakes
Will happen
because
and good
there is
accident
no
will
supervision.
happen because
Why?
there is no supervision.
Because nobody is there to control the
So,
job.
my first question is, when you are as a receiver, when you want to leave the site, what should you do?
Inform the issue. Inform to the first call to
I just want to write Khalid, قوم والله إنك تمسك المايك شوف we want answer from لا I give answer from there. When one receiver decides to leave the site, what he should do?
You should call the issuer first.
Through the mic.